Welcome to The Feed, hosted by Allegiant Call, where it's all about the sound. Sponsored by Dakota Decoys, Migrant Ammunition, Bush Rats, and Gator Waders. Confidence in every step. And here we go. Welcome back to The Feed, guys. Welcome back. The first one is over. It's a lot better to say welcome back versus just welcome. We got one. I think, everybody we talked to seemed to kind of enjoy it. So I think we all kind of got some texts and some messages. So tell all your friends to come listen to us and see what we're talking about. We'll have some good, maybe some stuff that you go, man, those guys are a little weird. But our wives tend to think we're a little weird too. So, we get over it. But welcome back to The Feed, guys. Brought to you by Allegiant Calls. If you're watching on YouTube, that is going to be up tomorrow. First one will be up tonight or tomorrow.
Awesome.
So you can see our sponsors. They're rolling behind us when you get on YouTube. Check everything out. Look at my pretty face. Then you can look at the other two. If I'm the pretty one of the bunch, we're headed south. But
quickly.
But today we got a couple things for you. Stacy's going to go over kind of like a review of how the world's went, kind of his perspective and things of that nature. We're gonna talk about a call, one that you guys may be interested in, and some things like that. It's going to be a lot of Stacy talking tonight. He's going to give you an overview, kind of the sounds that we're getting out of that call and some things, and a little story time at the end. So, but to start with, for everybody that you duck hunt, you follow calling, if you're in your skid steer, you're in your truck, run into the store real quick, get your Mountain Dew, get your Skoal, whatever you need for the day. Because for everybody that listens that isn't in the duck calling world, Stacy's going to give just a 2 or 3 minute overview of what the world duck calling is and that kind of thing, wings over the prairie. Then he's going to go over, for all of you that do follow it and follow his calling and everything, kind of where the contest went for him, and he'll get in depth. So you won't be back in the truck for that, but fill your skid steer up, go get your Skoal, get your Mountain Dew, and then get back for that. So Stacy, what is the World Duck Calling Championship, and how do you get there?
Well, you gotta qualify through a state or regional contest for Main Street calling. This year they had the World Cut Down Calling Contest. It didn't require a sanctioned contest to get in. So, with Main Street calling, and where I cut my teeth in contest calling is through Main Street calling with Butch and Buck Gardner and those guys. You have to qualify through a state or regional contest, and this past year I qualified winning the Heart of Dixie Regional. And so, that's what you have to do.
So for everyone else, it is a contest of, and you hear people that hunt some but don't know go, well, I've never heard anybody call ducks in doing that. Yeah. Guys, it's not about, there's live duck, there's meat duck that tailors more toward that. Main Street, you're really showing off your air control and what you can do with the call.
Yeah. I mean, so Main Street calling, it to me, is the hardest type of contest calling that you can do. And so that's why it's so appealing to me and to a lot of guys. It is the elite duck callers of duck calling, in my opinion. These guys are pushing a call to their maximum capacity, and controlling that call. And just pushing that call to its limits and without messing up, and so that's the key. And this year, I think it was 57 callers in the world. I know when I first qualified way back when, I think it was 2012, they had more like 75 callers from Canada, New Zealand, U.S. Yeah, so, but since COVID, that number seems to have gotten smaller, but let me tell you, this year's contest was probably the hardest, and I knew that going into. If you listen to the first podcast, I talked about that just briefly, but this contest was stacked with the toughest. I mean, I think we had 7 former world champions in this contest, and it was evident, when you go to these contests this year, through trying to qualify through a state or regional sanctioned contest. It was evident that these guys were trying to get back in this year, and man, did they! It was a stacked contest for sure.
Yeah, no, I talked about some guys. I've been around a little bit. Nothing. Just kind of following Stacy, and we were in Jonesboro one weekend, and man, I was kind of like, oh wow, like I was. They're buddies of yours. You talk to them all the time.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just normal people to you, but I was kind of a little starstruck with like, well, man, there's this guy and there's that guy, and oh golly, I didn't even know that guy still called, and it's super cool to see guys that you've seen on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Some of these guys are. I don't even know the correct word. It's just because I don't know, but a lot of these guys are. Not iconic. I'm just saying that they've set the precedent for what a lot of people see today.
Well, I guess would have been early 90s, mid 90s, when a lot of these guys we were starting the video hunts. Man, they were pushing brands. It wasn't just duck hunting.
Yeah.
And they got behind these brands, and that's who you kind of followed. I mean, you can go back if you're not a duck hunter to like a Michael Waddell or like a Real Treat. That kind of thing. These are those guys for duck hunting.
Yeah, it is. And if there's somebody you want to meet, go to a calling contest.
Oh, absolutely. And most of those guys, again, and we're going to wrap up this and let Stacy get into it. But if you go to those contests, when they're competing, they're focused on that because that's A1 while they're there.
Yeah.
But man, when it was over, those guys stood around, shake your hand, talk to you.
They're no different than anybody else. And when you go and meet them, they're just as. I mean, let's face it. If they wasn't the way they were, we wouldn't do what we do in the contest world. They're just as nice as guys. Former world champions, and talk to you like just me and you are talking now. That's just the way they are. And so no, it's very humbling and very. I don't know, appreciative to be able to get knowledge from them and talk to them. So it's a good time.
So that is kind of what the World Duck Calling is. A little snippet into kind of that world for everybody that's not part of it, doesn't follow it. If you're listening and you're getting into duck hunting, calling's an important part of killing ducks. And man, it's something to work on. It may be something you're interested in.
Yeah. No, I encourage a lot of guys to, if they're interested in contest calling, to start with a meat style contest. It kind of emulates a Main Street type, but you don't have to have a Main Street call. You can take an Allegiant MP9 or a hybrid and go and compete at these even a GPS. You could go and compete at these contests and be successful with it in a meat style contest. And I've been successful with our calls in meat style contest. And but for Main Street, that's not a call that we currently produce. It's something that we're definitely working on for the future. But right now, that's not a call that I make. But definitely something that we're looking at.
So I'm going to talking about some meat contests, I'm going to throw down to Andy at the end. Andy, I guess you were in charge of the Hard-Dixie region under Alabama State, correct?
I was.
So I'm going to kind of give you a little challenge. Let's see if we can kind of push and maybe get like a novice meet or something next year. Is that possible?
Yeah, definitely.
Just for the beginners to get some big guys into it and
yeah, we've
definitely
had a lot of interest from quite a few people wanting to have a novice. I think is a proper word. An entry level contest for guys that are getting started into it. I've got several good buddies of mine that are getting into it, blowing really well. So that's something we're looking at doing. Event next year is probably going to be an afternoon event. We're probably going to have a couple more contests. So it's going to be. This was the first year of doing it. Central Alabama Duck Hunters sponsored it, and it's next year's going to be a good one.
I mean, for years and years, just in the state of Alabama, we would drive. Everybody. I remember guys from Mobile driving to Huntsville for the contest, and to have it centrally located, and for Andy to take that responsibility is a huge responsibility. Just getting sponsors from local businesses is a job in itself. I appreciate somebody locally trying to do that and see. And Andy has an interest in duck hunting and duck calling, and it just fits. And man, I'm telling you, it's so nice. You had guys from all over at your first contest.
Yep.
I mean, Louisiana,
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
We had some Florida boys that were
Florida. So these guys didn't have to drive as far as going to North Alabama and things like that for Alabama contest. And here he is putting on a cut down contest, which is more responsibility of youth, Heart of Dixie, State. He had 4 contests in his first year and did an exceptional job running it. I mean, it was probably, I attended several contests this year, and it was probably one of the best, well put on, sponsored contests that I went to this year.
Heck
I
yeah.
mean, it was great.
So, guys, and even if you don't, you're like, man, I don't want to compete next year. Come out, watch it, kind of see what it's about.
And on top of that, he had great judges.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that all that is a lot of work, and a lot of these guys don't get a lot of credit for holding these contests, and that's where the work is. And man, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, it was a blast.
All right, so guys, I didn't make it this weekend. Y'all will probably hear lots of stories later on about our kids. I had Earl. Y'all will all get to hear stories about Earl at some point, but
Earl is not his real name.
no, Earl is not his real name. Didn't name my kid Earl, but that's what we call him. If you ever meet him, he fits Earl. But
It's a Earl.
So give us the overview how your contest went.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So currently I am working on a future Main Street call. I don't know when that will be, but just working on it. I have 2 inserts that are real close. They're not there yet, and what I expect them to be. So I reached out to Stump RM Calls last year. He cut, I want to say 2 or 3 inserts last year that wasn't quite right. This year he sent me one, and I just want to say that I cut my teeth in Main Street calling and started in 07. I think we talked about that in the first podcast. And Jeremy Romaine had a big hand in that. And along the way, the network has grown, and I've met so many different people. And it's so great to see a lot of those guys this past weekend. And but nonetheless, and it's a selfish part of me. I know it is, but I've been doing this so long. I have a goal of winning the world championship in the future. It's still a goal, even after this past weekend when I'm frustrated and, about how you perform and this and that. But that's what really keeps me going, is having that goal in front of me and being a future world champion. And when Butch passed, because he was my biggest mentor on just technical things or what I needed to do, and inserts and cutting me inserts and things like that. When I had the opportunity to meet Stump on a personal level and talk to him and have him, say, hey, Stacy, I want to send you an insert and see what you think. From that point on, we really created a bond. And having him there this weekend, he not only made the call that I used and supports me, listens to me, and it's a selfish part of me, Kendall, but it almost takes me back to when Butch, I had somebody to bounce these routines off of that made the call. And I know it's a selfish part of me, but it's a personal goal. It's still out in front of me. And he gives me that opportunity to talk to him and we talked about inserts and what he's done to the ones that we have. I don't have to do it. I can tell him and he does it. Mm-hmm. And I'm focused on my customers and our hunting calls and our hunting line in the future and where we're taking that. And that takes a lot of my time. And it's so nice to say, hey, Stump, this is what I need. This is what I'm getting out of it. And talking to him about Main Street calling and the inserts gives me insight to what I'm looking for in the future. Mm-hmm. So when I am complete with a Main Street insert, it's taking on not only what I learned from Butch, Buck Gardner, Jeremy Romaine, Justin Hall, now it's Stump and his knowledge and how, we came up with an insert for me. Mm-hmm. And taking all that knowledge and then placing it in the future where I'd like to be, and I think that my goal right now, win a world championship, or get really close, come out and start helping other guys at that point, right? And because I've met my goals, I'm there. I feel some comfort in knowing, hey, I've kind of done what I wanted to do here. Now it's now let's take all this knowledge that I've gained over, my goodness, since 2007, and now let's get it to these other guys,
Because this is your professional athlete at this. This is as high as you can go.
This is it.
This is your quote unquote baseball bat. You are Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. They didn't grab any wooden bat off the shelf and go, "Yep, that'll work."
No.
These bats were tailored just for them. This duck call,
Yes.
the one, let's say I decided to start. You're not going to cut me a call that's going to work for you.
Kendall, that's a great point. And the analogy you used, I never heard of that. I'm a baseball guy. You know this. I know you are too. But man, what a great analogy. And you know, Seth Fields won the Worlds again this year. What a phenomenal caller. He'll probably go down as one of the best callers in our era. He's just phenomenal. But you can't you can't say that the call he's using fits me. It fits him, you know, and what he's able to do with it. I do think, because we talk about so many different variables in a duck call, I think some of those variables could apply to the insert that I'm blowing. Now, what those are, we don't know. You know, you have, and Stump does a great job of not taking. If I said, "Hey Stump, I want cess insert," he could say, "Stacy, that's not for you." You know, I run a call with less back pressure. I don't want a whole lot of back pressure. I don't want to feel that much into my coming back to me.
That's evident if I've ever picked anything up that was tuned for you and tried to blow it. It's completely different.
Now our hunting line is different. Yeah. I like a call with a little bit of back pressure, a lot of hold. You know, I like a call with hold, something that I can feel when I'm hunting. But as far as like Main Street calling, you know, from the time that Butch cut me a call, I'm still trying to replicate that one call. And we haven't found it yet. And we'll get into how I performed. And we hadn't found that yet. I will be talking to Stump about how we get closer to that. But mind you, this was only the third or fourth contest that I competed with this new insert. I got up there. I guess we can go into how I performed. Yeah. I mean, so I get up there in first round. I blew my routine.
So let me back this up.
Yeah.
I talked to you. When were y'all in Birmingham? June, July? What'd y'all do Buckmasters and stuff in Birmingham?
Yeah, it was around July.
I talked to you. You had a video of you just blowing up there in the Civic Center. You're like, dude, I'm blowing as good as I've ever blown.
Yeah.
And you competed, you qualified, but you kind of had some stuff that you're like, man, I'm not where I know I can be. So,
I still think that. I even after the Worlds this year, I still think the ability to win the World, I'm more confident in myself than probably somebody else that heard me. You know, but I feel like I have the components. I hear everyone that knows me it's been around me say, you're there. The components are there. Now we have to really dial this in. You know, and this past Saturday, I don't feel like I was completely dialed in. Just to tell you, I let Andy listen to one of the routines I blew on the Tuesday before the Worlds, and I'm telling you, if I was able to replicate that on Saturday, I felt like they would have to tell me no to get to one of my personal goals. And I wasn't able to do that. So I set that call down Tuesday, and I took Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off because one thing that I battle is I blow a call really hard. I try to blow the insert out of the barrel. And I think that's one of my downfalls, but it really wears me out to blow routine after routine after routine. I said, so I think I can gain more by setting this call down and just resting. Because at this point, and I tell my friends this, Jeremy Romaine, Justin Austin, you're basically a professional at this point. If you can't do it 3 days before the World, you're probably not going to get any better, right? Yeah. So I said, I know what I can blow. I know what's going to come out of the call. Let me just rest. I think I can gain more out of resting. And I did. What happened is the day of the contest, I go out in my truck an hour before the contest, blew a routine that was kind of a little too shattery for my liking. And I was overblowing the call. I had rested. I had fulfilled the goal that I was looking for. I was not tired. I was confident. And I go out there and I was overblowing it.
So now you've got a little more air than what you were used to for the last however many months. That's
right. And so
it's too late to change reads and stuff. You don't want to do it then. You don't.
You know that's the time where you should be locked in. I was locked in, but a little bit too well. To be honest with you, I couldn't I couldn't take a deep breath, calm down, and say, okay, once I hit the back pressure in that call, I'm going to stay in it and just get that good, perfect tone in the first round. Okay,
So what'd you score first round?
I was like, it was low scoring.
Okay.
I made first round.
So you made second round. You did
So,
not
yeah.
get kicked out.
No.
You didn't get kicked out.
No.
Okay.
It was a little too shattery for my liking.
Okay.
Had I been able to hit the tone that I had the Tuesday before,
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like I would have scored a lot better and could have scored if I could have done that twice. Maybe carried me to the third round.
Okay.
When we get to the third round, it's anybody's ball game at that point.
Yeah.
Where you're going to end up. So I blew first round, blew my routine. I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, I'm OCD. I just did not like it myself. When you're hitting that call and you can feel it in your chest, and that's what I'm accustomed to, you get that good tone, that good reverb, like it comes back to you. You can feel it in your chest.
When the hairs in your lungs vibrate the right way,
Yeah. You're blowing the. It's dead on. That's the best way I can put it. And it as a caller, you've done it so much. So, I didn't feel that. I couldn't find what I was looking for up there in my warm up. So, but anyway, I said, you know what? We're just gonna send it and go with it. And I did, and ended up making the cut, getting the second round. And I'm back there in the bus, what they call the bus. It's just a trailer. I think it's like probably 12 by 50 trailer. And that's what we call the bus. And, everybody's looking for a bus ticket when they qualify for a state regional contest. So we call it the bus. So I'm back here on the bus, and I had some tools in my pocket. I pop out my screwdriver, take my call apart right there in between rounds, popped in a fresh cork, and I took that cork and I just pressed it as far back as I could. I said, hey, if I break the cork tab right here, I'm done. I'll blow somebody else's call and just leave.
Yeah.
But I knew what I did in the first round wasn't going to get me to the third round, and so I pressed that cork as far back. So what that did was it lengthened my read just a little bit, and so I was able to go up there, amped up again. I mean, honestly, I probably could have lifted a little Toyota Camry that day, And so it lengthened my read just a little bit, and I was able to clean my tone up, but it still wasn't what I was blowing on Tuesday. Even though I was using the same read, it still wasn't there. And but it did clean up. I did score a little better, but I didn't make the third round like I've done in the past. And I was down and out about it, but I didn't beat myself up about it. But I was down and out. I will say I knew that going into it, this was going to be really good, or I was going to be a little disappointed because I had not competed with that insert enough yet to really dial it in. But I did know that I was blowing well enough that if it came out on stage that I was going to be in a really good position. And it just didn't happen that day. And sometimes that happens. But the more I compete with it, the more I talk to Stump. And I'm just going to say this, that he's an exceptional guy. Really has told me a lot about Main Street inserts, and I'm learning more.
How much different are they than a typical hunting insert that? It's not they. I don't know. I've never made either one of them. I mean, I look at them and they look the same from a non-call maker.
Yeah.
But from a call maker, is it a 180-degree difference in those two inserts, or is there just small intricacies that are different in a Main Street versus a call insert?
I can't speak for Stump and his hunting calls and his Main Street call. Okay, because I don't.
But in your mind, with you designing it.
Okay, so with what I'm working on, there's not a big difference, but there are some differences. Okay, I mean I can't get into that, but I don't know when I'm going to finish that, but I know it's really close. Okay. And every caller looks for something different. I know what I'm looking for. I want really good tone on the top end, not clear tone. I want a little vibration in it that I can feel it, because I compete best when I can feel a call. Especially on the top end, so I can track those notes all the way down. But I like big, bold ducks that I can hit hard, and I can really push that call without pushing myself too hard. So that's what I'm trying to develop now. And we're really close, but we're not there. And anyway, what I was going to say is during the contest, Stump had a notepad, and I'd never seen this before. Call makers in the contest that you're in. But what he had was he wanted to know everybody's number, and he was writing them down on his notepad. Mm-hmm. Do you know how he was doing that? So that when he goes back and looks at the scores, he knew what everybody scores, and he was writing it down. so that he could listen to that in the replay of the contest. So he's listening to everybody that uses his call, so that he could kind of hear what the judges were hearing, so that he could give you advice. And and that really took me back to when Butch was helping me. And I didn't tell Stump that day because I was really focused on just me. Like, yeah, I was talking to all my friends back there, and we were really just chatting it up. But I was focused on me and what I could do that day. And I'm telling you, man, it took me back, and I was so impressed by what he did. And on top of that, we're going to make a post. He gave me something. I made him sign it because I looked back on some of the things that Butch gave me in the past. I never had him sign anything or anything like that. Remember, we was taking pictures that day. I was like, we need to take pictures because I don't take enough of these, and I hadn't taken enough in the past. But anyway, yeah, we'll post that up. But Stump gave all his callers something, and he said it was blessed. It was blessed by his pastor. And so just those little things that he did, man, it helped me in my confidence. It helped me with just, that day you're very anxious as a caller. I had talked to Seth before the contest, and man, he had me laughing about how he felt that day. And when he hears this, I know he's gonna laugh because he knows what he knew what he told me. And we laughed about that. And it's just crazy to think about how it affects each person differently. I wasn't really nervous that day, and I never have been except for my first few times I was in the Worlds. But I'm always anxious, and there's a big difference. Like, I'm anxious to do the things and show people what I can do, and so it just affects people differently. And I don't know, to see Stump do that and the little things that he did, just shows his true character and how he cares about other people.
Outside looking in, I mean, I've heard Stump's name. Wouldn't know Stump if he walked through the door of the podcast studio. I've heard his name. Everybody, knows him.
Yeah.
But outside looking in, that's a love for what y'all do. That's not about money. That's not about gaining anything.
Nope.
That is a love for the callers. And
man, let me tell you. So when we first started working on the insert for me, because I told him my story. I told him what I was looking for. And I told him that I really wanted someone to continue to invest in me because I get a sensation of the old days out of that. Like, when he invests in me and what we're trying to do and build an insert for me that I can achieve a personal goal, I get a sensation of that's the way it was in the day. And it's hard for me to let go of that. Like, I don't want to let go of it and just say, all right, Kendall, here's a Main Street insert. Andy, here's a Main Street insert. Let's practice. I still want to invest in me because I haven't reached the goals that I'm looking for. And I want to. Like, I can't let that go.
It's kind of like when you get in the truck and you go ride some dirt roads. It kind of takes you back to being 16 or 17. This takes you back. This is it for you. This takes you back to that time.
It does.
And it's just something. This evening, I had a little boy in the truck. Me and him and Dad just hit a couple dirt roads because it's just kind of. It's something that gives you peace inside.
It does.
This is it for you.
This is it.
This is your dirt road.
I have my eyes watering up, but like Saturday for the contest, you replay all the things like Butch being there. Mm-hmm. Hey, I know Butch is listening to me, and as soon as the contest is over, he's there. Like, I don't know, it's weird, but to some people, and to some people, it's not. To me, it's not. It takes me back, seeing Mike Anderson, who Butch worked with, who's a former world champion, who's probably one of the most humble, nicest guys. That when you talk about a world champion, the Logan Hancocks, Mike Andersons, David St. John, Brad Allens, those are the guys that I look up to. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's who. When I think world champion, they've carried themselves in a way that world champion should. Constantly giving advice, shaking your hand, hugging your neck, saying, "Hey, how you been?" Checking on you and your family and how you're doing. I mean, that's the way it is. And before that contest Saturday, before I walk up there, the nerves start in. You're in that bullpen. You're second back. You're not on deck, you're in the hole, and that's when it starts, and because you got to be two on deck. So the person calling, there's one on deck, and then you're in the hole, just like in baseball. Yep. And when you're in the hole, it starts hitting you. I'm here. I've done this again. I'm back. And that's when the nerves start, kicking in. And that day, Saturday, I don't know. I felt confident. I wasn't that nervous, but I looked over to the right, and there Stump was. And it's crazy. And I'm not gonna say who was ahead of me or whatever, and where I was in that order. And he could feel how I was feeling. He looked at me and says, "You're one of the best callers here. You're better than that." The confidence he gave me reminded me. He just continues to carry me back to when Butch was investing in me. And I think, Stump has told me in the past, he says, I want to help you achieve your goal to become a world champion. And that's how he truly believes. And when I start making Main Street calls, I want to be in a position where I can say that to the next person. And right now, I'm not there.
So until you get there,
until I can do the best I know I can do.
Yeah,
there's no point in doing it because I can't give someone else my best.
Yes. So if you want to be where myself and Andy, we're sitting here, we've listened to you, we go, you know what? I think it's time we want to try this. You can go, you know what? Every night, you blow your routine, text it to me. Now listen. Until you can do that, then you can't give everybody 100, so you're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. And that's where I am. I'm still, he has that time to invest in me and all his other callers. I enjoy that. That's where I am at this point in my life. But, and then the other thing is too, man, I'm still getting used to responding to guys with helping them with their meat calling. Mm-hmm. And, that's a line of calls that we have. And that doesn't require as much time. I mean, just going to be honest.
Well, there's a meat call. It kind of is what it is.
Yeah, so with a meat call, you're not dialing in the tone. You're not dialing in what you need to do with the insert. It's there. Mm-hmm. It's in the call. It's more of what you're doing as a caller.
Getting your routine right.
Yeah, maybe, maybe want to bring that note all the way, on down. Mm-hmm. You may want to extend your feed. We're dialing in the routine or dialing in you as a caller as far as from a meat style. Hey, just keep your throat open, this and that. Whereas we get into Main Street and all your notes the same. Bring that call all the way down. Push it to the end. It gets so the variable, the dynamics of it is way more complicated.
I mean, you're going from, and I'm going to use a little golf here instead of baseball. You're going from playing your club championship scramble to being on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
those are the difference.
Yes. But
that's what you're looking at.
But it's not something you can't do.
Yes.
It's just going to take you a while.
Well, I mean, I say Tiger wasn't good at like 4. He probably could have beat me, but there's not very many Tiger Woods out there. But those guys didn't get there overnight.
Hey, let me tell you, Saturday, that was a stack contest, and some really, really, really former world champions went out in round 2, and some really good callers went out in round 1. And they're rocking and rolling and pushing that insert to its full potential, and then they hit a little bitty note that some people wouldn't even hear, that they know that the judge heard. So we're talking about something like that that somebody else wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's a good analogy. I will say it could have went a little better. I wish it would have went more in my favor, but I should have done a little better. It wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. I will say that I have finally gotten my routine where I want it. I've gotten it better. I still think there's some opportunities to kind of dial in that insert a little more for me and what I'm looking for, but I'm learning more with that insert, and it takes time. And but no, we're gonna get there. And it's just something me, I cannot quit. I left frustrated, but not frustrated at anything but myself. Yeah. Knowing I've been on that world stage multiple times, and I should have known that I was going to be all jacked up. And I thought I wanted to go into it with a little more control, and I couldn't. I couldn't control myself. I was ready.
So that's a little world overview. We're gonna go into. We talked about a little meat calling.
But congratulations to Seth on another world.
Oh yeah. So Seth, you can check Snapchat. I'll let you know in the group when this is gonna be out. You can hear mention your name.
Yeah.
All
No, good job, and all credits due to him and all the practice. And
just one.
he's just got to get me dialed in.
Just one over on the East Coast.
Yeah,
What,
well,
last
live duck, cut down duck, and Main Street. So, but
you might as well go to Louisiana and blow your spec call too, Seth, and just take that.
Well, I think he's working on Canada Goose Championship now. So.
Okay, you're gonna go to Easton and just take that money too. Hey, just whatever.
But talking to him, he's kind of opened my eyes on some things that I can do to do. So we'll leave it at that.
So we're gonna transition from that to meat calling and hunting. So meat calling gonna be the same as what you're going to do basically in a blind. Because you hear people say Main Street doesn't do it. I promise, I've been in the blind with Stacy. These guys that can blow Main Street call kill ducks too. Okay,
oh, yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
They know how to blow a duck call. They know how to work ducks. That's why they're there. But we're going to talk about one of our calls. I say ours. Stacy's calls that maybe is for you, and he told me which one he's going to talk about. It's personally the one I have on my lanyard if we're in a field. So. Go ahead.
Yeah, our top selling call right now is the MP9, and but just kind of go back. These guys that contest call do know how to call ducks, but there's a difference in calling ducks and just calling. I've learned over hard knocks on what sounds to make. Some of the sounds that I'm not making on stage.
Yeah.
And unless somebody captures it on like a video or reel, I'm not going to tell you what that is,
yeah.
But I'm able to make those sounds that the ducks react to, but anyway, the MP9 is my favorite call. Hands down. The hybrid is a close second, the 70-30 hybrid, but the MP9 is what really I can really grab those ducks' attention, and that insert is really a insert that was designed off of a GPS home board. Some things that we did a little different. And, for us at Allegiant Calls, not only do we have the experience and the tradition, but I'm also able to bounce ideas off guys that have been hunting ducks as long as I have and contest calling who've been successful. And having that in my back pocket and has helped me so much in the hunting line of calls. What these ducks like to hear, and what at Allegiant Calls, what do we see that makes a duck call versatile? And that's the range in it. We've already talked about how some callers are different in what they can do, and how one call might not fit you, but it might fit me. But it was our job to make a duck call versatile that can fit everybody.
So I'll tell you, with the MP9 guys, you've got your GPS. Fair amount of hold built in it.
It's got a lot of hold, good back pressure.
But
smaller board.
For the guys that call, I'll say like me, you've probably never heard me call, but I'm nowhere near a world champion, but I feel like I'm not the guy that's just picking up a double reach starting. This MP9 allows me to get everything I can get out of the call.
Yeah.
Without it being a little overly hard to blow when you get a little jacked up, because I'm not on the stage, but there's 10 greenheads right here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little jacked up. I'm not probably blowing quite as... You called me the other day, and you was like, hey, you got a little excited. You didn't open your throat up like you know you're supposed to.
I'm going to call you out on it.
So this MP9, to me, for someone of that stature, is the call for you if that's where you are. The hybrid gets a little tougher. You have to control your air more.
Well, it really depends on
MP9.
What environment you're hunting, what you're looking what you're looking to get out of a call. So here's the MP9 summed up in a nutshell. It is the most versatile in what we've been told at doing all these shows. We've sold a lot of calls this year. It's our top selling call right now with a hybrid right behind it. But they're able to, the range from the top to the bottom, there's so many ducks that you can make in that range. Meaning, I can take that call and I can really well on it. I can hit them hard. You've heard it. But when they get in close, I can go all the way down from just soft quacks to Cajun squeals to refuge feeds to just feed chatter, single clucks. There's nothing you can't do with it.
So even the feed, there's some calls that it has a squeaky feed, it has a real ducky feed. You can get both out of this.
You can.
You can get a squeaky feed that I won't call it a cut down feed for Andy. That's a real big cut down guy. That real squeaky, but you can just get real ducky too on those feeds. It has it if you can do it. The call will do everything the caller can do.
It just has a wholesome tone to it.
Yeah.
You know, from top to bottom.
Sounds like a duck.
Yes, it does. And that was what we were looking for. The GPS tone board is really close. That tone board is for guys that like a lot of back pressure, guys that are that have been calling from way back in the day like that call. Your older gents that really like back pressure, with a smaller board that maybe hunt a lot of timber. That call it still has the ability to get loud. Killed a lot of ducks with that call. It was one of the first calls that I came up with. But
future episodes we'll get into.
Yeah.
But the MP9 is the all around. If you want to call to hunt with, you can't go. If you're going to be in a field.
Wait, what's so amazing about that call, Kendall, is the top end is so clean and can get so loud. And the way I tune them, if a guy orders a call, because cut down calling is so like the thing right now, I bank on that person that's getting it, on how they present their air. So I can take that call and go, cat, pop those notes, and I get great tone. Then I can say that same call, that same read, that same insert that I'm sending this guy, I can take and open my throat, blow it like a traditional J-frame, and get the same tone. And if you don't think that's a versatile duck call, man, I don't know what is. And that's the way I tune them when I send them out. And then I hit them on the bottom. I want a wholesome duck on the bottom end of that call, and that MP9 has it.
Yep. So that's the MP9. If you're looking for a call for your husband, your boyfriend, your sons, or your wives, or whoever for Christmas, and you think this is the call that would fit them, get with Stacy. Go to legioncalls.com.
Yep. And it's been hard to keep a lot of calls in stock. It's been a great year. And so if you see something, I tell guys, if you see something on there one day, you better get it. It's just every other day somebody's messaging me, hey, when you going to get this color? When you get this color? I don't know. When we get it, I mean, if you see something you like and it's on there and you're thinking about it, grab it.
And for all you that like colors, I just grab whatever he gives me. He's like, you want a black one, a white one? I was like, I don't care. It's going to be muddy when I'm done with it.
Yeah, when you get done, it's going to be muddy.
Which is good. That means you're using it for what it was designed for.
Yeah, and the vendors that we use, or the vendor that we use, let me tell you, they have really good product, because my son has thrown one call all over the house, and it still sounds good. Trust me, it can handle it.
That call has a little something to prove next year, too.
Yeah,
we'll leave that in there.
Yeah, we got to. That's just a personal goal.
Yeah. So that's the MP9. That's kind of the world's. But I wasn't at camp this weekend, and I got wind, and nobody has really told me the full story. I see Andy grinning over there. This is going to be his time to shine. So, guys, for y'all that don't know, we have a camp in Arkansas. That's where we hunt. That's where we try to spend 2 months. We really spend probably 3.5 months, 4 months over there working. But we try to spend the 2 months of duck season there as much as possible. We have a super nice place, and I'm going to give Stacy credit for that. It's something that he really enjoys, having a nice place to go, nice place to shoot ducks, comfortable, where you can have fun and just kind of get away from the world for a day or two.
Yeah, even if you don't kill ducks, but we try to.
We try to.
A man can still go and relax.
I can go cook and enjoy cooking and relax and watch TV.
Watch football.
I don't have to watch Bleepy. It's great. There's no Bluey. Well,
I need to start the story.
Go ahead.
Because you brought it up. Not something I want to talk about. Nothing I'm proud of. But since you brought it up, I guess.
Where I was going was we have a super nice place, but things happen when you're not there every day. So y'all go ahead. I'm going to sit back and just enjoy.
No, I walked into my bedroom.
Brand new bed, by the way. Brand new bed.
Looks phenomenal. I walk into my bedroom and I look at the comforter. I'm like, what is that? So we had a lady go in, clean. She does a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
I mean, we couldn't ask for better. And I said, what is that? She must have set something down on my comforter. It looked like it had been wet, like there was rain. So I call Andy in there, because Andy's there for the weekend for the Worlds. He want to go Worlds and hunt a little bit. So Andy, I called Mickey back there. And, I kind of leaned down. To smell it. And I'm like, man, it kind of smelled like cinnamon or something.
And for those of y'all that don't know, Stacy cannot smell. He has no nose hairs.
Cannot smell a lick.
Can't smell a lick.
Which is a good thing. And Andy leans down and said, "Nah, bro, nah."
No,
said, "What do you mean, bro?"
Mickey leaned down at first, and he took a whiff of it. Mickey, y'all see him on here for too long. Phenomenal guy. Don't want to hurt your feelings. So Mickey goes, "Hey, Andy, take a whiff of that. That way I'd be the one to hit the bad news with him." And go ahead.
He said, "No, bro. It smells like piss." I said, "That ain't piss." I ripped the comforter back, because now I'm getting pissed. I ripped the comforter back. I wonder if she brought a dog in here or something, Dog that pissed on my bed. I ripped the comforter back and I leaned down and said, "Oh my God," it hit me. I smelled it then.
In fact, it was.
In fact, it was. So now, if you don't know me, if something gets at me or bothers me, I got to get back.
Yes.
So I'm like, what in the heck got in the house?
Okay,
Yeah.
so last week I said a few things that it's probably not exactly how it
Nah,
went.
they ain't how it
For
went.
the podcast, those words will use.
They ain't how it went. So I go outside and I'm like, I know I got to fix the eave on the end of the house where my bedroom's at. And
it's been on the list for all
it's been
year.
on the list. So I go out there and I'm looking at it in the dark. I got a headlight, that Ben Oak headlight, son. Let me tell you that thing. If you're listening to this and you need a headlight, get the Ben Oak headlight.
Ben Oak, we can put you up on the TV if you'd like to. We can work on that.
Yeah,
we can talk
hit
about
us
the
up, Ben
headlights.
Oak.
Hit us up.
But let me tell you got a good product. We use it. We love it.
It's like the sun.
Oh, at night. And so I am looking at the eave of the house. Something's been up there. Now I start investigating. I walk around to the air conditioner where I know I have a hole in the eave of the house where the air conditioner line's going on. So I look, and I start looking at that thing, and the foam that they have on it, it looks like it's just mangled all the way up. And down at the floor, at the ground, it was perfect. The foam that you wrap around the pipe that sticks together, you know what I'm saying? It was not mangled at all.
Andy, how calm is he right now? Is he like flustered, or are we just really
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're
We
still
haven't gotten flustered
we're
yet.
still in investigation mode right now.
I am running an investigation right now.
We are
So
CSI
I get Chris.
Miami right
I
now.
say, "Chris, come here." Chris comes out there, and the longer I look at this, the madder I'm getting. And I look at it, and I said, "Something in the daggum pipe right there." And he said, "Sure did." He said, "I think you're right, Stacy. That son of a guns went up that daggum pipe right there." I said, "Well, reckon what it is." He said, "I don't know." He said, "Maybe a raccoon." I said, "I think it's a cat."
Okay.
Why that popped in my head?
Somebody's house cat's going down.
All right. He said, I think he really was just antagonizing me. He said, "I think you're right. I think it's a cat." And so we got.
Well, I don't know if you're
I
aware
bust
of
through the dining
once
room.
you have something on your mind, you just have to agree.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
bust
taking it any other way.
through the dining room. I said, "It's a daggum cat." I didn't say daggum. I said, "There's a cat in the attic." So I pull the stairs down. Insulations done fell all on the ground. I go up there. I'm just going to leave it at this, Kendall. There's evidence that there has been something up in the attic, and it's everywhere. I'm like, it's a freaking cat in the freaking attic. Here this guy comes behind me. Now I'm on to something. I fully believe that this thing is up there right now. And so I got the Ben Oak light on my head. I am crawling through the attic. He looks like one of them, the groundhog game where they pop up and you
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole, yeah.
Yes.
That's what he looks like in that attic over there. He's got all you see is his head
Pop it up.
popping up. I'm going down the attic on the Raptors. I look to the right. There it is. It's a freaking possum. This thing looks like a gosh dang panda looking at me. This is the biggest daggum possum I've ever seen in my freaking life, son.
I'm telling you, Kendall, this thing, I'm going to weigh it. When I kill it, I'm going to weigh it.
It's the size of a lab.
We take over and under, son.
So you're telling me Lucy's gonna have a hard fight if they get into it? They may be
If
the
that
same
possum
size.
gets on her back,
That's it. Game
she's-
over.
she's in trouble. Son, this thing's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and we're about 15 feet from each other. And I'm thinking, if this thing comes at me, I don't know what I'm going to do. Then, no, it was Chris's son-in-law.
Donovan.
Donovan.
My mind went blank. Donovan, grab him. I said, ain't grabbing this freaking possum. This thing is big as
Now, guys, for everybody listening, Donovan's 6'3".
dogs like this.
Donovan is a big fella.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
said, grab him.
and I doubt 0% of me, Donovan would have just grabbed him. No doubt of me, he'd
No,
have
no,
grabbed
no,
him.
no.
He'd have grabbed him.
I don't think he would have. I don't think so, because the story gets better.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm missing the whole.
Oh, man. So this thing's 15 feet from me, looking at me, and we're eye to eye. This possum's wanting to know what I'm about to do, and I want to know what it's about to do. I ain't got nothing on me. I said, give me a gun. I already knew if this thing comes at me, I'm going to be like Jerry Clower, son. Somebody's
Just
shoot
shoot
up in here. Somebody's got to have some relief, son. Because this possum knew what was about to. This thing's been around the block, son. It had, I think it done whooped every cat over there.
Well, we don't have cats. I will say that. The cats are
Dude,
nuanced.
this thing is massive. And so I yell at Donovan. I said, Donovan, go out to the eave. And I said, run him down to where the hole in the eave is, and let's get him out. I'll just shove him, shoo him out that hole. No. This possum knew what we was trying to do.
He come at him.
Come at Donovan.
So you tell me he didn't play possum?
No. This son of a gun is wearing a dang gold chain, son. He is a gangster.
Thug for life.
Thug for life. And so instead he goes down, and Donovan's beating the Eve, trying to get him to shoo him down toward the end like he's cattle, And this possum knows what's about to happen. He knew what was about to happen. This son of a gun turns around and starts running the raptors.
Just getting it.
He starts saying, where is he? Where? I can't keep the light on him. This sucker's moving so fast.
I have no headlamp, and the last thing I see is this 30-pound panda bear running towards me, and Stacy turns the sun in the other direction with his headlamp, and I've got nothing.
And this guy starts freaking out.
Did you go back to, was it the Blair Witch Project way back in the day when we were younger?
Dude.
And I'm hollering at Stacy, get a light on him, get a light on him.
He's over here, get a light on him, get a light. I can't even catch this possum with the light, son. So he runs by Andy. And where we added on to the house, he goes through a little hole to the new side.
Oh, that's Chris and Jim's bed. We're good down there.
Oh yeah, we're fine. This sucker goes down there, and Andy by this time has now got the camera. There is footage of me in this attic with this possum.
So for everyone out there, if you have a checkbook, there is footage of this. It is not going to be given out, but
Let's just say there's choice words.
It is not rated for children
No.
under 18.
Let me tell you, son, my knees ain't what they used to be. I ain't old. But let me tell you, squatted down in that little attic up there.
Looked like a spider monkey, son. He was getting
I
it.
was getting it after this thing. Donovan's like, grab him. Donovan, I am not grabbing this freaking possum. I said, give me a gun. I'm about to shoot this pot. I done had enough. He done pissed in my bed.
not before Worlds, by the way.
Not before Worlds. I'm up there in the freaking attic messing with a gosh dang possum. He's pissed in my bed. This is at 9:30, 10 o'clock. He pissed in my bed. I done been up in the attic for a daggum hour. I'm chasing this daggum. I keep wanting to say something else. This possum all over this attic. At this time, I said, give me a freaking gun. I'm shooting this sucker. Andy's like, get everybody away from this side of the house. He's shooting him.
Andy's cool with it. Andy's... All right, so,
He said, we need earplugs. Mickey, get us some earplugs.
all right, so Mickey, when you listen, there's two of us. Me and Andy both antagonize, okay? We're cool with whatever Stacy wants to do. We're going to help. We still need you around to kind of calm things down, Mickey. You're the only one that tries to calm it down.
Well, Mickey's there. He's like, "Hey, brother, don't shoot a hole in the roof." I'm like, "The heck with the roof! Give me a freaking gun!" Chris is down there. "I got a laser." I said, "What is it?" "380. Get it." I said, "Get my 9 too." I'm not sure this 380 was gonna take his possum down. That's how big he is. This son is looking at me. I've now been oak. I have now flipped my switch to the red light.
Oh.
So we are at a stare down at about 20 feet. And he is sucked up in some insulation and he's looking at me with the red light on. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm about to bust a cap in you. And he's where, though, the eave in the new house is so low, I can't get over there. So when I pop the cap in this sucker, I don't know how I'm going to get him. So Mickey comes up there with a gun. He says, "Hey, brother, you got to think about, can you get him?" I'm like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, if you can't get him, you're going to be stinking by tomorrow afternoon." I said, "Great point." I said, "What do you think, Andy?" And he says, "I'm with you." He said, "Mickey, get us some earplugs." I think some part of Andy, he wanted me to see me pop this freaking possum.
Some part of Andy's tired of the panda too.
Yeah, he's tired of this panda looking at me. And he kind of wanted to shoot it when it come running at him.
If I'd have had a gun when it come at me,
we wouldn't have questioned anything.
Son, I think this sucker needs a 20 gauge.
there'd have
telling you.
been a hole in the kitchen. We'd have been patching ceiling work.
Ooh, it's a big one.
I mean, we do have some extra sheetrock laying around if it comes to it. We can re-sheetrock the ceiling.
Mickey says, "Hey, brother, don't shoot a hole in the roof." I said, "I don't think I will." I said, "Chris, is this laser on?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Good. Give it to me." And I'm laid down like...
You've racked one in it, right? This is game on.
We're doing this. I'm laid down like Chris
bear.
Kyle, son. I'm laid down in the ceiling like sniper.
Sniper. Where you at, Andy? Are you behind him, beside him?
So I am in the little cutout hole going to the new section. Now, granted, this little cutout hole, Stacy snaked through it like
2.5 square.
Yeah, and I'm in the cutout hole like this.
This big joker.
I can't breathe, and I'm holding the camera with one hand.
So right now, I picture Chris Kyle laying here.
Oh, I done moved a 2x6.
Uh-huh.
I have got my knees on it with the beam right here in front of me. I have got my elbows on it.
So we got Chris Kyle, and what was his buddy's name that gives you windages and yardages and all that?
There he is.
There's
right
Andy.
there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I've got pictured right now is Chris Kyle and his guy with his binoculars, and it's going down.
So I get this 380, and it's a snub nose. I said, "Chris, how close do I need to be?" He said, 10 foot. I said, "So this daggum laser is good for about 10, 15 foot." And I look at it, and I said, "How far do you think he is, Andy?" He said, "Man, he's 20, 25 feet away from me." And this sucker's done buried up in the insulation. All you see is we got a picture of this.
Mm-hmm.
All you see is his eyes, his big old white head, and part of his nose. And he's just looking at me.
Just me mugging.
Dude, he will not take his freaking eye. He knows what's about to happen. He will not take his eyes off of me. And I'm propped up, and I go to hit that laser. I'm like, "Andy, where's the laser?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "Shine it down the ceiling." I shine it down the ceiling. I said, "I don't know if it's working." So I stick my one finger in front of the laser. I see the laser. Start backing it up. I don't see it. I shine it down the ceiling. I barely see it.
Man, they give you laser with that.
He done gave me a
Battery
freaking...
dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
I'm glad he didn't need it in Memphis on the way over.
God almighty. I said, "Chris, battery's dead." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Give me my 9. Yeah, I am. I'm propped up. I got dead on this sucker. Andy said, "We need some earplugs, man." He said, "This is going to be bad." I said, "Mick." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Give me some earplugs." He said, "Hold on, brother." I said, "All right." So Mickey's fumbling through the house looking for it. This possum's still looking at me with this red light on, this bent oak red light. And, man, I'm getting stoved up there like you ain't never seen. And he said, man, we got to hurry up. I'm like, I know.
I'm about to die.
He's
My-
about to die.
My right leg is cramping up. I'm about to lock up, and I'm about to spread eagle through the ceiling. I said, Stacy, I got to go. I got to get up. I got to move.
That's about to be two Justins right through the ceiling.
And I am hemmed up, and
By
it does
that
not feel
time-
good.
By that time, Mickey pops up like whack-a-mole. He says, I can't find no earplugs. I said, look at my bottom drawer. He said, I did. They ain't there. I said, look at my top drawer. Oh, he's back here. And he said, well, we got to hurry up. We got to hurry up. And Mickey comes back, pops up. He says, I ain't there, brother. I said, dadgummit, I got to do it. And he said, I got to get down now.
Papa Bear had to come up out that attic.
So he comes down. I said, well, get out of here. I'll shoot up here by myself. Somebody, I got to get this possum out of here. I can't go to sleep with this sucker up here. And then Andy goes down. Mickey pops up and says, I don't know, brother. I'd probably wait. I said, why? I got him right here. He says, I think you're just going to shoot a hole in the roof. So he was not confident in my pistol shooting.
Well, I haven't seen you shoot a pistol.
I mean, I can hit a target.
I'm gonna be honest. If you give me a pistol, I'm gonna be better off if I can throw it at you and hit you in the head with it and hope it knocks you out.
Well, he had a pretty good sized target. I mean,
I could have got it.
I mean,
And I didn't shoot. Mickey comes up there. He says, brother, what about if we just get a live trap tomorrow, set it off up here? I said, I could kill it right now. He said, how you going to get it? I said, I don't know.
so I'm gonna throw this out there. I think a little bit of you wanted to be like Kendall and be like, you know what? Repercussions can be dealt with later. We're in the now. Let's just get it done.
Something like that, you take one step at a time. And I was at that step. I done been up there for 40 minutes chasing this daggum possum, the size of a daggum black bear, son. And I had him in my crosshairs.
Yeah.
Mickey talked me out of it. And he said, we're going to get a live trap tomorrow. We still ain't caught that possum.
So
that'll be high on the agenda next
that
week.
is-
Oh, next week, my butt. I'm going tomorrow, son.
So
I'm going to get this possum, with or without you.
so for everyone
It's a
listening,
dang booner.
so
He'll go high
Oh,
160s.
he's going 160. Hey, I'm going to have a picture made with this sucker. I'm going to hold him up like this, far away from my chest.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Please put him on an Allegiant leather leg strap. Please put him on the leather strap.
He's a brute. He's a brute.
So that is what's living in the camp.
So, anyway, yeah, I'm headed to camp tomorrow. I'm going to hunt with a good friend of mine. I drew my deer tag this year. So,
We don't just shoot ducks. Well,
Yeah.
I
Well, it's an Arkansas split, and it works out. When I do get my tag, I get to go hunt with a friend of mine. Him and his family invite me out there and I take a friend of mine from way back, and I get to go out there and go deer hunting. And we're hoping for the best. 2 years ago, I was able to harvest a really old buck out there. So, I'm not a real big deer hunter, but I done it. That's what we grew up doing, and so it's always fun to go out there. But I'm also going to be doing some duck hunting with him, and that's always a good time.
yeah, it's a different state than Arkansas. I'll leave it at that. And there's greenheads in this state.
Oh yeah.
It's a good one. I think.
Yeah,
it's,
they've had some snow. They were harvesting a lot of greenheads while we were at Worlds. So it snowed Saturday. Snow was still on the ground, I think, Sunday. I think it's kind of vanished now, or he sent me some pictures today. So no snow now, but still cold. So plenty of ducks in the area is what he's saying. So hopefully we can get over there. We're going to smack a deer first and then go do some duck hunting and then catch you guys back at the camp after when the split opens back up. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of birds. We still have some water to pump. That we're doing over there at the farm. We're going to flood up some woods and stuff like
couple
that.
lines left of brush. We've got some new land this year. We're not sure still where we need things, where ducks are hitting. It's a learning process, but we're going.
But we know what we want to do, and I think that when we get back for the split is the perfect time to do it. Catch it around Christmas and hunt January on those places. We got a lot of food over there, and so I think we'll do pretty good.
I think so. So that is what's living at the camp. That is life with Allegiant.
It's a booner.
That's life for Allegiant for last week. You
Yeah.
got a little overview of the worlds and kind of the competition side of it. Not something we'll focus on a lot, but it's interesting. I think there's more people.
I really enjoy talking about it. Seeing all my friends, it was a fun time.
Yeah, and kind of where we're at. Kind of got to hear about the best-selling call we've got. And
Yep, MP9 is definitely where it's at. We're going to talk. I think the hybrid is close second. I made those two calls to complement each other, so we'll talk about it next time.
Yep, next time come back, we'll talk about the hybrid.
One last thing to bring up is for the first week of season, we've probably killed as many ducks as we have in a very long time. So we're bumping on some
80.
records there.
Yeah, I will say if we could have had.
And we didn't hunt the whole week.
No, we hunt the weekends, guys.
Well, we hunt 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah, we don't.
Typically, when the greenheads show up, we're from 2 to 3 to 4 days, depending on the weather. But right now, with it being early season, we've just been hunting primarily Saturday and Sunday, and we've done really well.
And other than the mallards, I think everything else. I'm a little upset. Stacy hinted that speckle bellies are my favorite, and then they go over there and they shoot a 5-man specs.
We tore them up pretty good.
Just shoot a 5-man specs without me there. So that was.
We need to talk about the MAV spec call soon too.
We do. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about as far as calls go. That way, even later on this podcast, you can always go back and go, man, which one of those calls? Which one does this or which one does that? And it'll be marked it'll be episode 2, and it's going to be marked MP9 overview. That way you can come back and look through it and listen to it and see what that call does. But season's been good so far. Arkansas's out.
I think it's going to get better too.
Can't wait for this is the best weather that we've had and it has stayed in.
I looked at the weather. We're going to get some rain.
Yeah, we do
Sunday,
need some.
Monday.
We do need some rain, some free water that you don't have to pay for.
Yep. So that's going to help us. More cold weather coming.
Yes.
Man, if it stays cold and it continues to rain here and there, it'll be a good year.
It's been a long time since we've had one. If it will continue, to be
this
good.
I think the pattern will continue.
Yeah.
So.
And every year, all y'all duck hunters know we go. This is going to be the year. And you get to Christmas and you're opening presents up in your shorts and t-shirt, and you're like, man, and you get 2 weeks of cold in January. You kill your birds, and it keeps you coming back. But this year's been good. Birds have worked for the most part fairly well. They haven't been super stale and
knock on wood.
The mallards that we have killed have worked. I mean, they work in tight.
The geese over the weekend didn't want to work. Sounded like Andy and them had a lot better luck out of those.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Y'all said the ducks worked good Sunday.
Hey, our podcast called the feed, and one of the key things is hunting the feed, and that's what they did. The feed was good to them.
Oh yeah.
So
that helps. We like to run traffic because we like to blow calls, but if you can be on the X and on the feed, that's if for all of you that are starting out and you need to learn how to blow calls, you need to learn how to set up decoys. There's 100 things to learn, but if you can learn one thing, if you're where ducks want to be, it's pretty tough to mess it up.
That's right.
Now, you may not consider run traffic.
I'll say this too. When we talk about waterfowl, we'll get into this in the next one. But there's 2 places they want to be. They want to be resting and safe and secure. Well, they want to be on the feed. And Andy and them were on the feed. So that's the in some of the old timers call it. You got A ducks and B ducks. Mm-hmm. Which one are you hunting? They were hunting A duck. A geese. They were wanting to be there. So
So Andy got some footage. Andy's getting his camera, guys. I get to see some stuff that y'all don't get to see. Man, he's getting good. We're gonna have some footage.
Takes time, but just having him there and interested in doing it and doing as well as he is and just wanting to help Allegiant, man, it's awesome. Awesome.
So thanks, guys, for tuning in to episode 2, and we'll be back.